hour, number 3, Big Sills. Appreciate you coming aboard with us. Thank you guys so much. As I started the program out, I want you guys one more time to understand what I said to you and how important, the most important thing is that comes out of yesterday's game. You got to win. Okay? You got to win. Good teams win in shitty games. Bad teams lose. Hey, the Cowboys lose games like that. Okay? The Cowboys lose games like that. You win games like that. That's the difference. Good football teams find a way to win. Okay? There's no getting around it. But you're telling me the entire offseason was prepared of that? That's not good enough. That's not one game. Even stats last year for Falcons, all 17 games, 159 tackles, 4 pass breakups, 2 sacks, an upgrade. Howie sitting still. So look at what Bear from Philly's saying. He must be talking about this kid Evans being signed because Nakobe's out. Of course he's out. You got to, I don't know, Job, you're going to put in there a corner? Good night. Justin Jefferson, I hope he never lines up on him. This guy's going to take his lunch pail to work. Dude, you're still addressing your starting linebackers with dudes that have been whacked by other programs and other teams. You got a severe problem. Why are you looking at it like that? You truly believe that a guy's going to come off the street and cover TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, and Justin Jefferson with guys who are lesser than anything you had a year ago? Holy shit. Are you stupid to think that? Stupid. You don't have anyone who can cover anyone except your corners, and one of them's down now. You're stupid. Ricks versus Jefferson? Reed Blankenship did not play that great. Where did you see that? He made a couple nice plays, but he was lost in coverage also. Dude, the New England Patriots tight ends are good players. They look like all pros. Giesick and Hunter Henry, we're killing you. We're killing you. Hey, outside of that pick six, it was a poor throw by Mac Jones. I didn't think Darius Slay played super great. I thought he played okay. It was a better game than he's played recently. Dude, your entire defense gave up over 300 yards in offense, passing to Mac Jones. Mac Jones. Mac Jones outplayed Jalen Hurts yesterday. You watch this one. Did Mac Jones, yes or no, outplay Jalen Hurts yesterday? Yes or no? Mac Jones. Did he? Did Mac Jones have a better game than Jalen? Look at no birds. No. No, cuz he lost just like he said. Oh. As I told you, I thought Mac looked great. By the way, is Mac Jones now the long-term answer in New England? Well, when you have a quality coach like Bill O'Brien, look what coaching does for you. Be careful with that point, Sills. If we can't get it off in the Super Bowl when we shouldn't be able to get it off now. No, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about them. Because people keep telling me about how great Jalen played in the Super Bowl and how he outplayed Mahomes. I know the difference between winning and losing. I don't give a shit what you do. Has no bearing on anything. You get the W, Trent Dilfer still has a ring. I don't care what you do. You can make one play in the game. But some of you don't see it that way. You like to move the yardsticks. Okay? Look what good coaching does for players. Matt Patricia was his OC, Bill O'Brien this year. And Mac Jones was 35 of 54, 316, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. That's what good coaching does for you. Completely outcoached. Your coaching staff was terrible. From the head coach to the special teams coach, there wasn't a guy worth his weight in salt that was coaching in that game on Sunday. They were all terrible, every one of them. And then for Sirianni, he started making excuses why they sucked out loud Sunday. Maybe we should have played more in the exhibition season. Had no place or context on a Monday talking about Thursday. You're making excuses up. And to the point, I thought special teams helped New England. Just terrible. You can't even line up correctly. You're burning timeouts to get proper personnel settings on the field. Train wreck. And seriously, the highlight of the day was Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Everyone else, you can have them. Devontae was good. I thought AJ was good. Here, if I had to give game balls to Eagle players, I don't give them the kickers. AJ, Devontae, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. That's it. Will Jefferson numbers matter if they don't win an NFC championship? No, because then he's going to be Tim Brown. The most useless numbers I've ever seen in my life are Tim Brown numbers. Tim Brown's got all those numbers and nothing. I don't ever remember him being a guy in a big game where you went, holy shit, that guy was massive. Okay? Those are your guys. 85 goes, week 1 is historically sloppy. Really? Now for San Francisco. Against Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh and New England are compatible. Okay? Kenneth Gainwell being established is a joke. So you establish a guy who's lucky to be on a roster over Dallas Goedert. Explain that one, Nick. That was terrible game planning. That's coaching. Kenneth Gainwell? I mean, DeAndre Swift, okay. Why'd you trade for him if you're not going to play him? Why did Kenneth Gainwell is the worst guy in your offensive huddle? Hurts was awful. It was terrible. Wide open guys all over the field. Now, I will concede. I saw things out there too. And maybe Jalen didn't feel comfortable in what he was seeing. If you guys remember right, hey, Tone, maybe you watched this game. But it was a couple of years ago that Brady went up to New England and Belichick got Brady into the fourth quarter. And didn't they hit the upright to lose that game? To almost beat the Bucks? I could have swore it was off the goalpost. And Belichick had designed these defenses against Brady. And Brady struggled in that game. It was raining. It was, if I'm right, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Bucks lost. They won that game because the Patriots kicked it off the upright and it didn't go in. And he had stretched Tom Brady. Tom could have lost that sitting on the sidelines too. Okay? Belichick's ahead of one of the greatest coordinators of all time. 5 across the line, man. I saw that. I was like, what in the world is that? And so sometimes when you see new shit out, there was completely new wrinkles in that secondary. Belichick just coached the pants off your coaching staff. Just absolutely coached the shit out of you. I mean, that's why that game was close. Because Mac Jones played his ass off. Even spotting you. Get this. That team spotted you 16 points and almost beat you. Man. And they're the 4th best team in the AFC East. Whew. Yes, I agree. Caster, you got to give Belichick. I said Belichick had to make that a fourth quarter game and a last possession game, and he did. And he did. The game was in their hands to win. And again, they were the lesser roster. So the Gainwell thing just completely blows my marbles. I don't get it. Don't blame the OC. Blame Hurts. He stunk. The Patriots D-line dominated the Patriots offensive line pretty much for 60 minutes. Except I'm not going to say 60 minutes because the first 10 minutes, they went on that 14-play drive to open the game, and it looked like it could be a long day. But they made in-game adjustments, as they always do. Nakobe Dean was terrible. Does not belong as the Mike backer. I wouldn't mind him as a Sam or Will. I would not mind him there. Then you can move him around. You can get him used to playing. Man, you just really are feeding a guy all this, and you're asking him for an unattainable situation to do all the things you're asking him to do, having never played the position before. 34 snaps is never playing the Mike linebacker. He's never played. Okay? In a game situation where he started or it mattered. He was a cleanup dude. He was a janitor. Now you're asking him to start ball games versus coordinators like O'Brien and Belichick and thinking he's going to go in there and outsmart them, having never played. That's not even a ability conversation. He got turned around so many times in that game, it became, I felt sorry for him. Getting hurt, had to get him off the field. I mean, they were targeting him. Hunter Henry and Giesick, they were going right at him. You heard Gary Cobb even say it. Right at him. Not good. Not good at all. O-line was abused. Missed assignments. Dude, what's the communication issue with the Eagles going into that? You had 6 months to know your positions, to know personnel settings, and to have blown timeouts over not knowing where to line up. That has nothing to do with the game. Pre-snap, here, maybe I should say this, And, Tone, maybe I didn't make this clear enough. Pre-snap penalties are the number one thing that aggravate me the worst. You know why? Because this is just knowing what to do. Okay? This is just lining up. You look like idiots. Fletcher Cox is banged up. I thought Fletcher, when he came in, he had a couple big impact plays. Jalen Carter was just great. He was. I thought Lane Johnson stunk. Worst game I've seen him play. Malata was terrible. It was terrible. Let's get to the games and how they impact the Eagles, especially in the NFC side. So I'm seeing that Chris Jones is now signed. Of course, they can't win the Super Bowl. How about this? They can't contend for a Super Bowl in Kansas City without Chris Jones and Travis Kelce because they just don't have enough bodies there. Okay? Ken, the Eagle O-line got killed. We'll do Bills and Jets at the end of the hour here. Let's go Commanders. Commanders 20-16 over the Cardinals. Cardinals fought. Give it to Jonathan Gannon, as much as I don't want to. They fought hard in this ball game. Sam Howell, 202, 1 TD. Let's see it. Let's see it. Okay. Let's see it. At one point, Dean was frozen. He was lost. Absolutely. It was terrible. He made some good. Hey, I will say this, Death Row, in a couple of the run fits, he did a nice job. He got in there. That was because Davis and Carter were playing well. He got in there and made some plays. But he got hurt in traffic. Well, that's what a Mike linebacker is. He's in traffic. Okay? I told you he'd never make the season. I didn't realize he wouldn't make the first game. He's just not big enough. He's a little dude. Commanders have talent. I don't know what they are yet. We got to wait for 2 more games. Desmond Ridder, 115, 1 TD. Bijan scored a touchdown, 24-10 over the Panthers. I don't know. Atlanta's got some talent. Okay? They've got some talent. The Bengals were destroyed by the Browns. Chubb 106. Jim Schwartz put a game plan together against Joe Burrow that Joe Burrow should be ashamed of. Can't play like that, son. Now, is it because of your calf? Were you concerned about it? No excuses. 55 million reasons why. Jalen gets no excuses. You surely don't. And you sucked the worst of any big paid quarterback in the NFL this past weekend. You were the worst. You were the worst with more expectations on you. And I'll say this, Deshaun is starting to feel it. And he made plays, and there were stretches where you saw Deshaun Watson Houston a little bit. Still at the beginning of the game, he wobbled. They're still righting the ship there. Man, I'll tell you something, too. Myles Garrett is going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He is some ball player. They got good safeties. They got good corners. They got a good D-line. They got a really good O-line in Cleveland. Cleveland is a good team. They're a good team, man. I think they got the Steelers next. That's going to be another game because Pittsburgh has to get that game. Don't let Deshaun Watson get back to being Deshaun Watson of 3 years ago where he's a top 5 guy. Because Cleveland could be in trouble for they can beat anybody. Like, I'll say this to you. Kansas City or Cleveland, I don't know. I might take Cleveland in that game. I might take Cleveland. Cleveland crushed the Bengals, who are one of the preseason favorites to make it to Las Vegas in the Super Bowl. Ravens over the Texans. Lamar 169, 25-9. 25-9. I thought they limped to that win. I was not impressed with Lamar Jackson in this game whatsoever. Looked out of sorts. A lot of incomplete passes. I don't know. I don't know. He just didn't look. I mean, hey, the kid Zay Flowers can play. He can play. It's great to have all these television sets on at once, watching pro football. I love it. Senor says, I thought you said Joe Burrow was elite and better than Hurts. He is by far better than Hurts. Jalen Hurts can't read a defense. Constantly on display. He's becoming predictable. Burrow's got to play better. I'm pretty sure Joe Burrow can read. I know he can. I see him moving people with his head. Even Tony Romo, who's not a quarterback that I have respect for. Jesus criminy. How many times are you going to go to the predetermined wide open guy? You got guys running around the field in that Eagle game against the Patriots that were wide open all day long. Open all day long. But again, Belichick has to get credit for that too. Jags over the Colts. I thought the Colts fought hard. By the way, I didn't think Anthony Richardson played that poorly. 31-21. Gardner Minshew had to go in there and clean that thing up. But I would say that Batman goes, it's one game. It's not one game. It's 36 games. There's a reason 3 players on your offense have 70% of his passes, which means 7 out of every 10 passes go to 3 guys. There's a reason. It's RPO. It's not progression reading. He's not going to sit there reading secondaries from a 7-step drop. And when he tried to, he was terrible. Stop making excuses. Brian Johnson, too. The whole thing was terrible. They couldn't protect him. By the way, when they tried to throw the ball more, your pass protection didn't look very good against the Patriots. So the more you throw the ball, Jalen's going to get hit more. The 49ers now. That was some ass kicking. Tremendous performance. They, in their O-line with Trent Williams, I thought Christian McCaffrey was one of the best players on the weekend. Brock Purdy was great in that ball game. He was great. Okay? He was great. The Callie Green goes, the Patriots defense is good, give him credit. I gave him credit for 2 weeks. You didn't want to give him credit. 49ers were sensational. Warner going down the line of scrimmage. You want to know how to play Mike linebacker and what the Eagles need? Take a look at Fred Warner, the way he plays. Going up and down the line of scrimmage like that, knocking guys out. He is a force. That D-line that the Niners have is scary great. And by the way, Brandon Ayuk, I don't know, but for me, he's getting better every time I watch him play. He might be WR1. Okay? He might be WR1 in San Francisco. Purdy and him were sensational. Brock Purdy was sensational. He was sensational. Against a very good coach team, against a very good, formidable defense, they crushed them. Like, that game was not competitive. Even though the announcers tried to make it competitive, that game was not competitive. It was not competitive. Not competitive. Okay? You see what what's his name said? If Jalen can't read defenses the way you say, they should have signed another quarterback. No, they have an offense the way they run it. And by the way, I saw another guy say, well, Jalen found a way to win and Joe Burrow lost. You're not beating the Browns. You could, with that performance, you would not beat the Cleveland Browns. You wouldn't. With those pass catching guys they have, you're not beating the Browns. You can't beat the Browns with that defense. You can't cover anybody. It was one of the most, I'll tell you, I'll make a prediction here too. This is a prediction. You'll be one of the worst pass coverage teams in the NFL this year. You'll be down in the 20s. You'll be down in the 20s. Buccaneers with a very, very, very impressive win going up to Minnesota and winning 20-17. Boy, did Baker Mayfield need that for his career. The Bucs have talent on defense. Okay? The Bucs have talent on defense. Okay? Totally do. Vikings can't start the season out 0-2. Big Sills, where do Hargrave go? I thought he played great. That whole front four played great against Pittsburgh. Played great. Okay. Mara goes like this. Sills got all the answers week one. Keep the same energy all season, dude. I sure hope you do. Because everything I said that you guys did not fix in the offseason showed up. You had 6 months to fix it, and you didn't. You got worse. You can't follow with me, guys. You can't cover anybody. You barely could a year ago. You got rid of better talented kids. Now you got less experience. You may have gotten better in stopping the run, but you got worse in defending the pass. Did you not see that? Like, would anybody in the world of imagination think about this? I don't know, everybody. I can't even name you the wide receivers for the Patriots. And I know they're tight ends, but I wouldn't consider the New England Patriots to have a superstar offensive attack. And they outplayed you. And the Patriot defense held your offense that you guys tell me is the best in the league to 18 points. I don't know how you looked at that game. Saints in a hard-fought game at the Superdome. Titans, Mike Vrabel, I get it. Okay? Sills, you said we couldn't stop the run. I said you did. I said you did. But I also said there's not a chance in hell you could cover any of their tight ends. And that was a fact. And I said your boy Dean would be terrible, and he was. I have to admit, watching the game, Sills, you were right about the whole game. 16-0 and let them come back and almost win. How he never valued linebackers. Dude, you played football. If you don't understand what week one playing against built, you guys told me 42-10. I told you, no way. I never said you were going to lose the game. Not one time have I said you were going to lose to the Patriots. Not one time. Not one time did I say that. Book it, the Giants upset the 49ers. The Giants suck. Okay? I never said Kenny Pickett looked good. I said all of you were telling me Kenny Pickett looked good. I never thought shit of him. People were telling me, and by the way, the Vegas guys thought he did too, because you know why? That number was 2. Somebody thought Kenny Pickett was going to do well. The guys who put the money on the table thought he was going to do well. It was a 2-point spread. So someone else thought it. The guys who, instead of just making predictions, okay? Chris says to Sills' defense, he said the Eagles will win, but it would be close. Our linebackers are terrible. That's all I said. And if they could get a game where they could establish the run, it would be closer. But remember something, Chris. Remember something about what the Patriots did do in that game. They did have last possession to win it. And that's all Belichick had to have, because he knows he doesn't have the personnel to hang with Philly. So you want that game as ugly as you possibly can. And the Eagles accommodated. They accommodated the Patriots. The Eagles kept the Patriots in that game. Poor coaching, poor execution, poor design of plays, and poor game plan. All of that played into why that game should have been, am I wrong, 31-10? That's a 31-10 game for Philly usually. Instead, all those things that I said would happen, happened. That's exactly what happened. He made it ugly, outcoached you, out-special teamed you. You didn't really think his defense was that good. Hey, by the way, with all the substitutes that they had in the O-line, it didn't seem to matter because they protected Daniel Jones. I thought you guys told me their offensive line was terrible. You couldn't get home. Mask goes like this. If Sirianni lost that game, I would want him fired. Why? He's a cheerleader. Does it matter? Yeah, well, maybe, man, we should play some preseason games. I don't know. Hey, Nick, no one wants to hear that when you got 2 days to prepare for Minnesota. What a stupid-ass comment. Honest to God, dude. Worry about right in your corner, CB2, and worry about who's going to cover Hawkinson and who's going to cover those wideouts coming across the middle, because there's a better offensive group that's going to play Philadelphia than what you saw in New England. There's a better group. Dude, you took on one of the worst teams in the AFC. They may win 7 games. Well, maybe we should play preseason games. That guy says some of the dumbest shit going. There's no place for that. No, Andy Reid loses a game to the Lions. This is on me. No, they go, hey, Travis Kelce and Chris Jones aren't playing. No excuses. No excuses why we lost that game. This is on me. Same thing with Mahomes. You don't get excuses in the NFL why you play poorly. And like I said about Joe Burrow should be ashamed of himself. $55 million. Jim Schwartz put a defensive game plan up on you, and you couldn't get and move the sticks. Dude, that's on you. You could blame all the offensive coordinators and all the bullshit you want. That's on the offensive coordinator. Don't make $55 million. Don't make $55 million. That's on your ass. So let me get this right. Brock Purdy outplayed $50 million Jalen Hurts. $55 million Joe Burrow. $51 million Lamar Jackson. And $48 million, Deshaun Watson. $42 million, Russell Wilson. He makes $937,000. That guy makes $900,000. And he outplayed all those $50 million guys. Whew. Brock Purdy was great. He was great in that game. He was great. Great. Hey, Niner, you got a guy making $900,000 out playing big-time number guys. No wonder you could pay Nick Bosa $35 million. Jordan Love. Good for you, Jordan Love. Jordan Love, man, put up some good numbers through 3 touchdowns in the ball game, 240 plus. Hey, can I ask you guys this? I would say this to you. Do they have a quarterback in Chicago, yes or no? Do they have a quarterback in Chicago? Williams, really? Man. Jefferson gone be inside the slot. We have to get to Cousins fast. Got to stop the run, okay? I want to see us get back to the run. Mask is Chicago's just a shit franchise at this point. Justin Fields is just not moving it enough. You know, I want to root for him because I like him and I like what the work and the dedication and all the shit he puts in. I mean, I am rooting for him. I want him to really, really play well. Maybe I'm rooting for him too much and I'm putting too much of that into this. But, yeah, I don't see it. Hey, man, Matthew Stafford healthy? He didn't even have Cooper Kupp in this game, right? Good night. Hey, here's something that Tone said, and a lot of people are believing this. Was last year a fluke for Geno? Whew. He looked awful in that game against the Rams. And the Rams really don't have anybody. I mean, Aaron Donald. And I really can't name you a bunch of guys in that Rams defense. Now, look, I love Raheem Morris. I do. I love the D coordinator of the Rams. He was the former head coach of the Bucs. We're friends. Man. Senor goes, Seahawks lost their 2 tackles. That really still even. You lose your 2 tackles. The Rams? Who are they throwing the ball to? Who are they throwing the ball to? I don't get it, man. I mean, that's a great win. Sean McVay, they get this done. Raiders over the Broncos. Why is it? Let me see something here. You guys hate Geno Smith, right? Not Geno Smith. Jimmy Garoppolo. You guys hate Jimmy Garoppolo, right? You don't really like Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo's stats. Let me see something here. So you most of you guys don't like Jimmy, right? To be your starting quarterback. Garoppolo's 41-17. He was 38-17 and 5-2 in the postseason. 2-0 in New England. And now 1-0 with the Raiders. 5 Stars says 41-17 is trash. And the reason why you have to take this into account, New England, San Francisco, and now the Raiders. It's 3 different places he's winning at. Do you think there's a coincidence to that? 3 different places. Three different places. He's 41-17 and 5-2 in the postseason. That guy's a winner, dude. Russell Wilson. Hey, am I right? Did they go into Denver and do that? Did they go into Denver? And did Sean Payton lose at home? Was it in Denver that Payton lost that game? I'll tell you something, man. Russell Wilson, there were times in the ball game where I thought he looked good. Okay? Okay? Wow. So goes into Denver and wins. Dude, that guy's a winner, dude. In Denver. Garoppolo goes in and beats you. And beats Russell Wilson. Dude, Garoppolo beats Aaron Rodgers. He beats Garoppolo. He beats all these quarterbacks. If that's a game manager, I'll sign up for that shit anytime, any day. Dude, whatever, dude. You can have all the Kirk Cousins. Hey, so would you rather have Kirk Cousins' career or Garoppolo's career? Jimmy G's got a Super Bowl appearance to his name and an NFC championship. What does Kirk Cousins have? I mean, right? Game of the day, at least if you're an offensive fan, has to be the Dolphins and the Chargers. Man, I got to tell you, that kid, what were the stats in that game? 466, 3 touchdowns, Tyreek Hill, 11 catches, 215. Man, if Tagovailoa can stay healthy, I don't know how far Miami could go. Miami, he put a show on. How many 450 plus yard games has he thrown for in the last few years? 2? Didn't he have a 486 last year? Wasn't it like 486? Now he's got 466. This is a guy that's a hit away from being a bag of Skittles. And you're like, man, if this guy stays healthy. And then the Dallas Cowboys destroyed the Giants. I'm more impressed with what the 49ers did to the Steelers, and I'll tell you why. I don't think the Giants are good. Do you know you have those idiots at WFAN saying that Daniel Jones is a top 10 quarterback? And I'm like, not a chance. Not a chance. I don't see it. So the Cowboys, Stephon Gilmore looked spectacular. 2 picks. He was great. He was great in that game. Totally great. But now everyone's like, Cowboys got the best defense. Cowboys, they're now saying they're going to sweep the Eagles. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let me get this right. You think Brian Dable's a better coach than Bill Belichick and that staff they have in New England? You'd be crazy. I don't think the Giants could beat the Patriots. Do you? I don't believe the Giants could beat the Patriots. He's reminded me of Mahomes and Tyreek Hill was on that team. Hey, do you guys agree? Okay. I don't believe that the Giants can beat that team. I don't. Cowboys always start the season on cloud nine. Just let it simmer a bit. They'll come back down to earth. Yeah, when they lose to like the Cardinals. hey, tell them that everyone will be like this, right? Like normal. How do you lose to the Cardinals? Hey, Barb, never date a guy with small hands, right, hon? Hey, Barb, never date a guy with small hands. That's what I'm told. Okay? Giants couldn't beat them. Night Sills. Maniac. I know everybody's doing the whole Cowboy shuffle now. Yeah, man, never date a guy with small hands. That's what I don't know. I wouldn't, I'm more of a kind of a chick guy, so I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. What about your feet, Sills? I got a size 16. I think that came out wrong. My feet are 16 and a half. Okay? I think my feet are 16 and a half. Okay? Hey, I may only be 6'2", but my feet are 16 and a half. Hey, I got a 16 and a halfer. I don't know. I mean, I should have said my feet. Let me take a time out. All right, man. Please hit the like button. Hey, we'll do Jets and Bills next. Keep it here on the National Football Show.